Find joy in the small things. Sometimes when we're praying to God for big things, we tend to overlook the small things that God does for us every single day. And when we overlook the small blessings that we receive, our mind starts to think that God doesn't do anything for us. We start to get discouraged because we feel like we aren't blessed. We feel like God doesn't love us. We feel like God isn't willing to do things for us. And the reason why we feel that way is because we're focusing on what we don't have instead of focusing on what we do have. We're focusing on what hasn't come to us yet instead of focusing on what has already came. I said this in a previous video, and I want to say it again for those who didn't see that video, but I said our focus and our perspective is going to make or break our faith. What we choose to put our focus on will either motivate us or discourage us. It will either push us to keep going or it will make us want to give up. And so if we constantly focus on what we're praying for and it didn't happen yet, or what we tried and it didn't work out, instead of focusing on the things that God does for us every single day, we're going to give up. We're going to be discouraged. And I don't want you to be that way. I want you to shift your focus and open your eyes to realize how blessed you really are. One thing that I used to do, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I haven't done it recently, but I used to do this all the time, like last year. Every single morning when I woke up, I would always thank God for waking me up to see another day. And then I would name one thing that I was grateful for that God did for me that previous day. See, when I named one thing that God did for me, it was a reminder of how blessed I really was. It was a reminder that God loves me. It was reminding me that God is still doing things for me. It may not be a big miraculous thing, but little things matter because little things build up to something bigger. We may be looking at one piece of the puzzle and think, what can we do with this one piece? But when we connect this piece to this piece and then connect those two pieces to the next 5 pieces, it builds into something bigger. And so we can't overlook the small things that God does for us. We have to acknowledge them and use them as motivation to keep going, because if God can do this for you, He's going to do the things that you've been praying for. And so I challenge you to think of one thing that God has done for you this week. No matter how big it is, no matter how small it is, think of one thing that God has done for you this week and take a moment to thank God for it. Thank God for providing food to put on your table. Thank God that somebody loaned you $5. Thank God that you got an extra hour of sleep. What is one thing that God has done for you this week that you are grateful for? Take a moment and tell it to Him. And make a habit of doing this often. Don't just do it this one time. Do this every day. Do this every week. Do this as a way to remind yourself of how blessed you are, to boost yourself up in faith so that you can see the things that you've been praying for, so that you can stay consistent in the things that God has been telling you to do. Use it as motivation. Make a habit of showing gratitude to God. And if you need more tips and resources to help you on your journey, make sure that you follow me and also join my Facebook group. The link to that will be in my bio.